We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are sent to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck. That makes you know. He can't fucking breathe. That makes you know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of I'm No Joe, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Ben Bronco. The views and opinions presented on the I'm No Joe channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Sunday. Oh, yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the What Did I Say show? The show where I hold us accountable for all of our shit-talking shenanigans and give you all the best recaps for the weekend's combat sports events. So, without further ado, let's dive right into the recap that everyone is really here for. A Fight Circus for Send Lawyers, Guns, and Money. Excuse me. First and foremost, if you were not able to stay up till 3 a.m. Central Time this morning to watch that event, I absolutely encourage you to go back and rewatch it. It is available for free for anyone to watch on Fight TV. Don't give anyone your credit card information. It's out there for free. No registration required. Fight TV's got it. I'll post links somewhere. It's in the Discord, all that good shit. Go back and watch it. To begin with, the Ring got caught in a car accident on its way to the arena and did not make it. So they started the stream by showing the production staff literally building a stage and a ring from scratch. And in an hour's time during the live stream, they built, assembled, and decorated a full fucking ring. It was amazing to begin with. But then we get into the actual matches. Domestic Pancreas was fucking spectacular. It was literally MMA in a living room. It felt like fighting with your siblings when you were a child, but with a referee and 4-ounce gloves. It was fucking spectacular. The boardroom brawl, excuse me, it was okay. It was a couple of white British guys boxing in suits. Interesting, but not the greatest. The couples therapy Siamese twins kickboxing was really pretty much the start of the show. Mecha Petzilla was fucking spectacular. Just one of the best Siamese twin kickboxing matches you'll ever see in your goddamn life. Go watch it. I encourage you. The upstairs downstairs match, I have to say, I was more excited for until they actually got to it, and then it did only legs and then only arms instead of only legs versus only arms like they originally advertised. But it was a weird thing. The Lethway grudge match was pretty cool. It was a fucking hardcore fight. The Wheel of Violence match was fucking spectacular. The Bob Sapp thing was fucking weird. The Nong Rose versus Capuro fight was strange, but then they ended the night by proving that John Nutt is really the best promoter in all of combat sports. Better than Dana White, better than Scott Coker, better than Chatri, better than anyone in the combat sports world, because he stepped in the ring himself wearing his production clothing and took on a 2v1 versus Bank and No Money, having not trained in the least bit because the card needed someone to step up, so he did. Spectacular overall event. I highly recommend everyone go back and rewatch that card. Let's see if I can drop the link into the chat live here as well. Let's see if I can pull this off real quick. Go. Think. There we go. So the link should be in the live chat as well for you to go watch the replay of the Fight Circus card from last night. Fight Circus 4, just chef's kiss, beautiful top to bottom event. That being said, that will bring us into the earlier part of yesterday. UFC Vegas 64, Rodriguez versus Limoges. Just not a great card, top to bottom. We kind of said going into it wasn't going to be spectacular. There wasn't a whole lot of matches on there anyone was really excited about, but there were surprisingly a good amount of finishes for the card that it was. Opening up, I get that Tamiris Vidal took the fight on short notice, but again, part of your job as a fighter is to sign a contract and make weight, and she missed weight and then slow walk danced her way to the octagon. Wasn't really doing anything all that impressive, and then caught Ramona Pascal with a knee to the liver, a flying knee to the liver that just stopped the fight because liver shot. But both Pascal and Vidal both looked fucking terrible in what we got to see of that fight. They both sucked. That was a horrible fight. Excuse me. But I will say one of the better fights of the evening, surprise of myself at the very least, and a couple others that I talked to. Candelario versus Hadley. Jake Hadley is basically having the career that Nick Maximoff thought he was going to. decent striking, but then the second that fight went to the ground, he just became a whole different kind of fucking beast and took absolute control of that fucking fight and showed that he is legitimately dangerous on the ground. He needs to sharpen up his striking a little bit, polish up his defensive striking, I think, more than anything, a little bit. And hide his takedown attempts a little bit better. You could see where he was going to go a lot of the times, I think. So not bad at all. Jake Hadley was looking pretty damn good. Excuse me. Johnny Munoz versus Ludwig Shaolinian. I honestly don't understand why Ludwig Shaolinian has ever been mentioned since the Ultimate Fighter ended. Once his season was done, he should have been a forgotten memory. He should have never gotten a chance in the UFC, let alone as many as he has now. Johnny Munoz just big brothered him, shut him down everywhere the fight went from the start to the finish. I will say credit for being a tough motherfucker and making it 15 minutes of basically getting slapped around and big brothered by Johnny Munoz, but the UFC don't need fucking training dummies. Like there's plenty of people in the UFC who legitimately are putting on or deserving of the good fights that they could be putting on, if not for bullshit like this that we got to wait our way through. Not to mention, I think Johnny Munoz deserves a little bit better than a fucking Ludwig Shaolinian match. That being said, he made his way through. He fucking beat the shit. This goddamn fruit fly net, whatever the fuck is driving me crazy. Johnny got his way through. He beat the shit out of Ludwig start to finish. So good on you. I hope the UFC fucking cut Shaolinian. They should have never fucking picked him up full time to begin with. That being said, fucking Jinyu Fry has no guard on the feet, not on the ground. She doesn't understand what defense is. Polyana Viana is not great at all. I would say she struggles to be mediocre at best, but she literally put together a 4-punch combination that fucked Jinyu Frey up so bad she forgot what she was doing and just dropped her hands to the side and was staring at her. Now, again, this is one of those matches where I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't good. It was not good. It seems to be the theme of the night. The results don't represent the fight or the fighters that were involved in it, in my opinion, in a lot of these matches. That being said, this would be one of the few exceptions when we come to Mario Batista versus Benito Lopez. Benito Lopez took a lot of time off and missed weight coming into this as well, but Mario Batista just came out and did fucking work, man. Threatened about 1 million fucking submission attempts until he landed the one that just ended the goddamn show. Absolute fucking hats off to Mario Batista. He's just been like quietly building fucking great wins in the background while people have somewhat been ignoring him for the most part for a hot minute now. So good on fucking Mario Batista for coming out and just shutting the fucking Lopez show down immediately, and he did. That being said, Miranda Maverick versus Shanna Young. Shanna Young, the only person of the 5 fighters on this card to miss weight, go out, cut their hair, and come back and make weight for the final weigh-ins before the fight. Unfortunately for her, it did not help her in the actual fight itself. Miranda Maverick came out looking spectacular on the feet, on the ground, everywhere the fight went. She was just absolutely in control. Shanna Young just was not able to keep up or have an answer really for anywhere that Miranda Maverick took that fight. So nicely done, Miranda Maverick. I expect to see her possibly in the rankings once they get released this coming week. She's slowly but surely, much like a Mario Batista, been just creeping up the fucking ranking, stacking decent fucking wins back. And this one was a solid 15-minute fucking show out. So good on her. That being said, holy last minute, what the fuck? Grant Dawson, last minute replacement for Drakkar Klose, stepping in against Marco Madsen, the Olympic wrestler, and legitimately ate a massive shot that dropped him like, I think, like 20, 30 seconds into the first round, recovered from it, and then went back to absolutely out wrestle the Olympic wrestler for the rest of the 12 minutes and 5 seconds that the fight itself lasted, before he actually got the submission on Mark Madsen. Got the fucking strong choke on the Olympic fucking wrestler. Just looked like a goddamn stud. Kind of shocked the world, really. Everybody except his team, apparently, they knew what this was going to go down to. So props to Grant Dawson and his fucking team for damn sure. Tagir Ulanbekov, poor Nate. In one position, he tried to transfer, and Tagir was able to just grab his neck and not let go. And then you saw Tagir literally, when the choke set in, he had his elbow pointing at the ceiling. He was cranking that fucking neck so goddamn tight, so fucking hard. Nate had no choice but to fucking tap. Like, the highlights of Tagir putting his fucking choke on and his elbow just immediately heading for the fucking rafters is just absolute beautiful textbook fucking submission. So good on him for that, for damn sure. That being said, the next fight is a little controversial here. There has been a lot of rumors and speculation about the overwhelming late money that came in on Shaylin Nurdenbecky, excuse me, and off of Derek Minner. 1 second. Sorry about that. We do this live, so these just happen sometimes. Whew. Excuse me. So that being said, Derek Minner, there is a lot of speculation and rumors circulating that Derek Minner severely hurt himself in training camp. But as many fighters have said prior to this, they just don't have year-round health insurance and don't get enough of a financial compensation for the fights they do put on to be able to afford to not fight once they've got a contract offered to them. And Derek Minner comes out right away into the fight, throws a fucking kick, looks like it hurts his knee, throws another one, and essentially falls down. It I don't know for certain because I was not in his camp. I'm not his doctor. I've not seen any medical reports. But what it looks like from a skeptic's point of view, from the outside looking in, seeing the rumors that are swirling around from multiple sources now about this situation, what it looks like is that Derek Minner had hurt his knee in training camp, but because of the way the UFC's contracts only offer medical relief coverage for injuries during a fight, he went ahead and refused to pull out of the fight and basically faked his way through the pre-fight medical screenings so that he could basically, quote unquote, accepted this injury in the ring, and then the UFC would pay for it, and it wouldn't be a fully wasted camp. It was pretty clear that something was off, something was fishy about the whole thing from the very get-go. The injury itself looked very strange. Obviously, we wish Derek Minner the best in a speedy recovery, but everything about that minute 7 that they called it was very, very odd. That being said, co-main event. D-Rod and Neil Magny. I've got to say, I'm not sure if I overestimated Rodriguez's boxing or if I underestimated the tenacity that old motherfucker Neil Magny still has left in him. But somehow the combination of those two gave us a great fight in Rodriguez's favor on the feet, but unfortunately, at one point he dropped his guard and Neil Magny was able to just wrap him the fuck up. There were several points where the fight got to the ground and Magny was able to basically backpack his way onto Rodriguez and stay there, which is kind of surprising considering as much training as Rodriguez has done with Cowboy and what we know for a fact that he's capable of, at least in training on the ground. To see Neil Magny in there just do essentially what he wanted on the ground was a little surprising to me, at least. It went about the way I think everybody expected it to on the feet. Rodriguez is a much better boxer, obviously, in this situation here, but no, ended up giving the tap up. Submission win for Magny in the third. Good for Neil. D-Rod's just gonna have to get back in the gym and do some grinding. He's got a little more work to do, it seems like, but still not a bad fight. Not a bad fight at all. But that will bring us to the main event, which was a bad fight. We said going in that this not only is this a replacement main event, but it wasn't really a fight that necessarily needed to be made to begin with. It sucked. It sucked as a fight. It sucked as a main event. This fight just sucked. They basically both took round one off, quote unquote, feeling each other out, and it sucked. Rodriguez used the fight IQ that I mentioned she had at the end of the round to score a takedown and win it without really doing much. But round 2 was kind of a back and forth shit show. Round 3, Lemos comes out, lands a big combo, kind of stuns Rodriguez, and excuse me. Let me be very clear. It wasn't going to get much better. It wasn't like Rodriguez had, just been ducking and weaving, waiting to counter. But Lemos landed a decent combo on Rodriguez and clearly had her hurt. But Rodriguez wasn't out of it by any stretch of the imagination here, and they jumped in and stopped the fight. And like I said, it wasn't going to get a whole lot better. Rodriguez wasn't going to suddenly turn it around and take the round back. But it was not unreasonable to think that she was actually just weathering Lemos, dumping the gas tank, and would have been just fucking fine in the 40 seconds or whatever the fuck it was that were left in the goddamn fight, come out the next round, and then Lemos is spent, and she takes the fucking fight back because she let her dump the gas tank, and when she didn't have anything actually significantly doing damage, she was really just burying hard shots into the guard for the most part. Granted, a couple shots did get through. Rodriguez did get fucking rocked, but in no way, shape, or form should that fight have been stopped. Now, I can see why they did stop it, but I don't agree with the stoppage itself. I feel like it was an early stoppage that in any other fight on the card had been in that same situation, that they would have let it go without even thinking twice about it. That being said, Mimosh gets the victory, calls for a title shot after winning from number 7. So it sucked as a main event, as the end of the night. Well, most of the end of the night. Then we get to find out that once again, the UFC has fucked up their own bonus system. They don't give a fight of the night. They give 4 performance of the night bonuses instead, which doesn't make any goddamn sense in my opinion. Vidal, who missed fucking weight and then got a bonus, breaking that fucking rule that the UFC has instituted. Polyana Viana, who gets a bonus in a decent stoppage. Not spectacular by any stretch of the imagination here. But, you know, whatever. Mario Batista, who is probably the only one on here I agree with actually genuinely deserves a bonus for his performance. And then Neil Magny, who, again, good job stopping the fight against D-Rod, but the submission that he got in no way constitutes bonus worthy, in my opinion, especially when you've got that fucking Tagir fucking elbow to the sky fucking submission that gets no fucking love at all. That seems a little fucking insulting, but you know, UFC gonna do what the UFC gonna do. So that being said, we're going to call that all for this particular episode. Excuse me. Hiccups, goddamn. Be sure to tune in Thursday for the newest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast with a full breakdown of this week's coming 281 pay-per-view card. Another episode of The Pit, and who knows, maybe a little shenaniganry in the mix. That being said, you can catch us Thursday nights live, 9:30-ish Central Time. I'm No Joe on YouTube, where you're watching this clearly. Those podcasts come out a week later in all audio format on anchor.fm/I'm No Joe, that you can pick up in your podcast consumption platform of choice. If you need some background noise, we make good substitution for that. That being said, if you like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, make sure you are subscribed wherever you are consuming us. We appreciate that. Give us a thumbs up. We like that as well. On the other side of that coin, if you would like to help out what we get up to around here, the easiest way to do that, patreon.com/I'm No Joe. For as little as $1 a month, you get your name on a thank you that rolls at the end of every broadcast on this channel, as well as access to unaired and literally unairable things that are legally restricted behind a paywall. Because that being said, on the opposite side of the proverbial coin, if you do not enjoy what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a podcast you yourself said you don't like? Give us a thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, that's all we've got for this particular episode. So until next time, boys and girls, remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Unless it's me not to win that 1.2 billion. If I do, I promise to make the show better.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.